My name is Brandon Walker, and I host the Brandon Walker College Football Show with Brandon Walker, and it's right here on this YouTube. You're watching the Brandon Walker College Football Show with Brandon Walker, hosted by Brandon Walker. Good to see everybody. Brandon Walker is easily a top 3 personality at Barstool, says Billy Butcher. Who the fuck are the other two then? Ben Thornhill, hello. Eric Revsdahl, Zach Morgan, Jeff F. Baby, Coy Little, Oompa, Joseph Dahl, Chauncey, E.J. Green, Ben Thornhill, Jitterbug, Matt Dixon, Woods 2323. Hello to everybody out there. A-Rod, thank you very much for that kind word about the interview with Tommy. Caden Rutherford. Sean G., John Rawlings, Sam Norman. Joe says Stetson Bennett for Heisman, which means Joe doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Webb means KCG, BMH 22. Andrew Zufelt. Braxton Flores, Max Facardi. Bing Johnson, Ben Christner. Charlie Schmitz. Andrew Shook. Albert Moore, James M., Lenny Smalls, Nick Wallach. Now, I'm about to preach about the Heisman Trophy. The 4 Heisman Trophy finalists were announced on Monday night, and they are C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State; Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC; Max Duggan, quarterback, TCU; and Stetson Bennett, quarterback, Georgia. One of these is not like the other. And it's not... The key thing when taking away this Heisman, the key takeaway from this Heisman foursome is Stetson Bennett has garnered the most controversy. He's garnered the most feedback. He's garnered the most disdain from fans. And I don't think that's really fair because Stetson Bennett is a good quarterback, is a good player, is a defending national champ, and has an incredible story. Stetson Bennett is what college football is all about. He worked his fucking ass off. He's a walk-on, and now he's a national champion, and he's coming to New York City for the Heisman. However, Stetson Bennett's very existence in this foursome is proof that we've lost our way as Heisman voters and college football fans when it comes to what the Heisman is supposed to be. Stetson Bennett is in New York because he is a good quarterback for the very best team. He has the best teammates in America. That's why he made it. He's 42nd in America in passing touchdowns. He's like 11th in passing yards. His numbers are fine, but they are not blow you away fine. They're not great. They're not what Hendon Hooker did this year, for example, or Michael Penix at Washington. But because at some point we decided team success should determine who wins the Heisman, it has absolutely evaporated what the award was meant to do. The Heisman Memorial Trophy is given annually to the most outstanding player in college football. And sometimes that player doesn't play on the best team. Sometimes that player is absolutely doing yeoman's work to get his team to 8 wins or 9 wins. Sometimes that guy's Lamar Jackson in 2016, clearly the best player in the country, but saddled with a team that isn't very good. But now, because we've evolved to the point where, it's an elimination award. When a team loses their players out, we get left standing with Stetson Bennett, who's a good player, but not one of the 4 best individual players in the country. The Heisman Trophy should be an individual award reserved for the greatest individuals in the country. If you want a team award, we already have one. It's called the National Championship, and that's what Georgia's probably going to win. So if you want to reward Stetson Bennett, watch when he wins the national title again. But if you're giving away an award for individual excellence, Caleb Williams is ahead of him, C.J. Stroud. Hendon Hooker spent 2 months of this season being the best player in America. Hendon Hooker resurrected Tennessee. Hendon Hooker put Tennessee on his back and put him back on the map. And because he got hurt and then they lost, or because they lost and he got hurt, he's out. It's stupid. It should not be a team award. It's an individual award. B-Walk, don't you think Casey's take about how the writers screwed Blake Corum to go to New York is very dumb? I wouldn't say it's very dumb. I disagree with Casey, and I just had a podcast where I disagree with her. I don't think Blake Corum should be in New York. The problem with Blake Corum going to New York is you're saying he's the best player in the country. Well, the second Blake Corum got hurt, they put in Donovan Edwards, and the last 2 games he's gone for 225 and 185. Michigan's running back production has gone up since Blake Corum was replaced. That just tells me the offensive line is the award winner there. 888-STOOL-22. 888-STOOL-22. Chandler Shields says Hooker beat trash teams and buckled under pressure. Okay, well, Chandler Shields, you should never watch football again. Is Alabama a trash team? Is beating LSU by 30 on the road a trash win? No, it's not. And plus, individuals don't beat teams. Stetson Bennett didn't individually beat teams. Stetson Bennett played on a team whose players are better than everybody else's. Did Stetson Bennett beat Tennessee, or did Georgia beat Tennessee? Did Stetson Bennett beat Oregon to sleep, or did Georgia beat Oregon to sleep? I had one idiot today say, yeah, Hendon Hooker lost the only 2 games that mattered. Really? He beat Tennessee and beat LSU. Why do you get to retroactively say which games mattered? I got a problem. Joseph Tesserario. Stetson dominated every big game, but y'all can only look at stats. Okay, I've seen that little cherry-pick stat Georgia fans have passing around Twitter where it says against 5 ranked teams, Stetson Bennett had 13 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. You know what that tells me? That when the quality of competition goes up, Stetson Bennett really benefits from having the best teammates in the country around him. Doesn't really change much from his perspective, does it? Hendon Hooker also, and Caleb Williams also, great stats against ranked teams. I'm not saying Stetson Bennett isn't a very good player, probably a great American, probably a good person. He shouldn't be in the top 4 of the award for the best player in America. 888-STOOL-22. I got a problem, TJ. I don't know how to do it. Maybe we just throw up a back right after this sign or something. I gotta pee really bad, and it's 6:07, and I can't hold it 53 minutes. So what are we gonna do?
Are you asking me as a friend or as a producer?
Who is in this building right now that can sit in this chair for 90 seconds?
Jack Mac.
Do you need a Gatorade bottle?
I'm not gonna pee in a Gatorade bottle.
I think it'd be funny to just say no, and then you have to pee your pants on the show.
Well, why do I get? I like that. Yeah, okay. I mean, I gotta pee. Can you, Katie? Can you recruit in this building to have somebody sit in this seat for 90 seconds?
I'll talk to the chat. Go pee.
Well, what do you mean you gotta talk to the chat? Oh, you're gonna host the show for a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pee in a bottle.
Finally. Been producing this show for a year and a couple months. It's finally my time. The Brandon Walker Show with TJ Hitchings. What's up, chat? What do you guys want to talk about? Drop your questions in the chat. You probably have about a minute and a half, and then 5 minutes later you'll have another minute because Brandon's prostate is enlarged. You guys want to talk Rutgers?
Chop, chop.
Rutgers thinks out loud. You think out loud, Joe.
No, I will not.
Ask questions. Ask questions. Holy shit. I've never seen the chat move this fast in this show. How's my father? Good. You play Overwatch? I do play Overwatch. How big's your hog?
It's massive.
It's not. Shiano, what's that? Shiano's a god-awful coach for Rutgers, and the sooner Rutgers fans realize it, the better. Who would you like to coach instead of Greg Schiano?
Who can you get besides Shiano?
Exactly. Is this the most unprofessional showing you've ever seen? Now, Brandon's been shirtless on the air a couple times.
Yeah, this stinks.
How many bowls should be cut out? Probably a bunch, but, you know, I want to make a bowl.
Like that bowl to be done.
When do I arrive and leave work? I get here at like 10, and I leave whenever I'm done with work, so usually around like 11 or 12.
He's back.
I'm just going to mute his mic. Who's the most 10X on the yak? Probably Owen. Are people actually fans of Rutgers? Yeah, I'm actually in the Fan Hall of Fame. Do I think Rutgers makes a college football playoff in my lifetime? Yes, because they're expanding. Am I friends with Brandon? I like to think so. He helped me out, and now I help him out.
I'm doing very
Is the Heisman a QB only award at this point? Probably.
Let me answer the questions. Hello, I'm back. Sorry, that's never happened on the show.
Which is shocking.
Really is. It really is. I usually time my P's better. Today's been all off, man. I haven't stopped going today. I recorded a dozen episode today. 888 Stool 22. Kevin Key says, TJ, have you seen Owen since he left? How is he?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
He's in the group every now and then, though, the Yak group chat.
Did he die?
No.
Fly high, baby boy. Fly high. Hello. Good. What's the best video game soundtrack? Madden 04 or 05? Somewhere in there. TJ's going to say, like,
A Tony Hawk game or SSX Tricky.
SSX Tricky is what I was about to say. Oh, MVP Baseball 2005. Never mind. MVP Baseball 2005. Best video game soundtrack of all time. You didn't play it. MVP Baseball 2005?
We talked about I played 2K5 because it had
Oh.
Jeter on the cover.
Had Tessie by the Dropkick Murphys. It had it's great. I'm taking my no, it didn't have the killer. Did it have the killers? The Donuts, the Bravery, Honest Mistake was on there. Fuck, it was good.
SmackDown versus Raw 2006.
I would like to. I just need to see the track list for the MVP Baseball 2005 soundtrack. It has Bravery, Honest Mistake. It has Doing Donuts in the Taco Bell. It had Tessie. Tessie was a bad little cry. Damn it! I now need to know all of them. So it's been a long time. All right. And you know us by the Trail of the Dead, yes. Dropkick Murphys, Tessie. High Speed Sing the iRock Z song. Yep. You owe me and I owe you. Go back. Go. Oh, me and you. Yeah, we got the Noise, Honest Mistake. I got a funny little feeling. God damn it, that's a good soundtrack. Oh, Finding Out True Love is Blind is awesome. All right. 888 Stool 22. Give me some calls. I'll talk to my people right now. Favorite type of potato? All of them. I don't know that there's a fashion of potato that I don't like.
You don't like sweet potatoes?
I don't like that's not a potato. That's a sweet potato. Hash browns, great. Baked potatoes, great. French fries, great. Whatever you can do with a potato, great. Yeah, you can't do anything to a potato that make me say, "Ooh, I don't want that potato." Potatoes are great. You know, it's an underrated snack. Potato sticks. You know, in the can, the sticks. I love a good potato stick. When I was in college and I was dating ugly girls, we'd go to the Ruby Tuesday in Starkville. And you know, Ruby Tuesday has a very good salad bar anyway, but this Ruby Tuesday salad bar had all the fixings and also had a bucket of potato sticks on it. So I would make a salad, all my lettuce and my bacon and my cheese and all that, ham, and I would top it with potato sticks, crunchy layer of potato sticks, and I would cover the whole thing in ranch 2 or 3 times. Of course, it was healthy. It was a salad. Why wouldn't it be healthy? That's not actually made of potatoes, says Adam Wesco. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I love potato sticks. Well, that's not actually made of potatoes. Shut the fuck up. God, I love potatoes. You if you just take food down to its base level, cow, pig, potato's way up there. I know this is Heisman talk, but what do you thought about J.J. McCarthy's performance as of late? Is it sustainable? Yeah, it probably is. It's been pretty good. Now, I think the coaching performance has been better. The coaching performance has schemed him wide open receivers. Like those throws against Ohio State were not difficult throws. Dun, 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 dun. 888 Stool 22. We go. I'm going to take this call, but I didn't like his tone last week. I didn't like the way he talked, and I'm gonna let you back on, but you're on probation, so don't fuck up, Tim in Tennessee. Go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. I'm sorry for my behavior last week, but I did tell you that Hooker wasn't going to make it to New York because the national media does hate Tennessee, and I think I was proven right this week.
Y'all just take whatever and you just ruin it. The national media doesn't hate Tennessee, you whiny motherfuckers. Did you watch this season? Did you see the national media absolutely fall all over itself to suck Tennessee's dick when Tennessee was good? This idea that you hillbillies have come up with, oh, national media hates Tennessee, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Well, you just watch. Jalen Hyatt is going to get screwed out of the Biletnikoff here in a few days.
There's other good receivers that could win the Biletnikoff. You're not. Jesus didn't come down in an orange robe and say Tennessee should win every award.
Well, they should. I mean, he's by far the best receiver this year. And, hell, I'll even give you your flowers. Will Rogers should be up there in New York instead of Stetson Bennett. It's ridiculous. I don't even think Mississippi State gets their fair due, and the national media don't like y'all either. So I really think you need to nut up and see that.
It ain't nothing to do with national media doesn't like us. The national media likes anything that will sell or be interesting or they can talk about. The national media doesn't know much about college football, and the national media doesn't have time to hate Tennessee. They don't think about Tennessee. It's the first time in 2 decades that you guys made them think about you, and you can't act like, oh, they hate us, they hate us, they hate us. Well, goddamn, by the way you act, everybody ought to hate you.
Well, if you look at, so we are not the only team to throw trash on the field, and you didn't hear nothing about it.
That's one of the saddest sentences I've ever heard in my fucking life. That you're mad that somebody questioned you for throwing trash on the field.
Okay, I guess you're friends with Dan Wolken and Pat Forty. You real big buddies with them, trying to stick up for them.
I don't care about either of those two human beings.
All right, thank you, Brandon.
You're embarrassing yourself. Well, I just dominated that motherfucker. That was easy. I should have a scoreboard. I'm up 1-0. 1-0. B-Walk. The spiciest call tonight, by the way, gets a $50 gift card to the Barstool Sports store. We go. Why did my voice do that? To Sir Snacks-a-Lot. Hello.
What's going on, Brandon?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, I guess. First time caller.
Hold on, what's your favorite snack?
My favorite snack? I enjoy Cheez-It. Cheez-Its are probably got to be in the top 3 at least.
All right. Now what's your call?
Well, you're talking about Stetson Bennett not deserving the Heisman. I got to say I disagree that he doesn't deserve it. He definitely deserves it. You're holding – how do I put it? He's being penalized for being up by 30 points after the third quarter. I think that's unfair. He's only thrown like 35 passes in the fourth quarter, so his stats are skewed because he's ahead by so much and he's pulled out of a game or whatever. And not only that, he's probably the best big game quarterback in college football. So should he be nominated? Absolutely. Is he going to win? Probably not. I didn't realize, by the way, that some people cast their votes early before the conference championship games. I think that's insane.
Are you a Georgia fan?
Yeah, but
shocking how I guessed that. Isn't it crazy how I was able to guess that you stumping for a guy who's 45th in the country in touchdown passes and not top 10 in passing yards is somehow one of the best individual players in the country? No, he is a good player on a great team, and that used to be enough. That used to be enough to say, oh, this team is incredible and they have a good quarterback. But now we have to say this team's incredible, so let's give their quarterback the individual award. That's stupid. You know good and goddamn well Stetson Bennett is not as good a quarterback on an individual basis as Hendon Hooker this year, as Caleb Williams, as C.J. Stroud. You want to talk about blowouts. Well, guess who else had blowouts? C.J. Stroud. Other teams, Hendon Hooker, other players had blowouts and still had a lot better numbers than Stetson Bennett. He's a good player on a great team. That's it.
He does it against better competition, though.
Because his teammates are better than anybody else's teammates, you dumb fuck. Brandon Walker 2, callers nothing. Brandon Walker 2, callers nothing. 2-0. I might throw a perfect show tonight. Y'all, TJ, you and Katie might not have to talk. Might not be able to talk to me. We'll get to about 6:40, and if I've still got a perfect show, we start to get nervous. It's 2-0 Brandon Walker. Unbelievable. Joseph Tesoriero. Stetson might not be the best player, but he's been a better quarterback than anyone you listed. Joseph Tesoriero sucks a lot of dick because that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm going to take a break from callers to wear his ass out. No, he's not. You're a Georgia fan, so you want to suck his dick. Good player. Great team. Not better than Caleb Williams. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. 888 Stool 22. Luke in Colorado, go.
Hello.
Off to a bad start, Luke.
Oh, do you think Bijan should be in at least the Heisman conversation in New York? He probably shouldn't win it, but do you think he should at least be there?
I have a hard time taking a running back and putting him in New York because quarterback is the most important position on the field. And Bijan Robinson had a decent year this year. Bijan Robinson had a very good year this year. But I don't know that he had a Heisman-type year. The man ran for 1,500 yards. He's behind guys like, Zach Charbonnet. He's behind – he's ahead of Charbonnet. But Chase Brown, Mo Ibrahim, these are guys that all had great seasons. I don't know that Bijan did anything to make him New York worthy over those guys I just mentioned.
All right, thank you.
That was it. 3-0. That was he didn't even say anything. Who's gonna come? Who's coming to beat me? Who's coming to beat me tonight? Who is coming to beat me? By the way, TJ, Aaron Judge to the Giants, but then not, but then yes again. Is it back to yes?
Is it? I haven't looked.
John Heyman's having a day out there, isn't he? This guy's name is James Space S. So I assume that's James. Oh, it just turned into James. Wow. Weird how that happened. I'm not going to, yeah. James, go ahead.
Brandon, I called in about 3 weeks ago. We started talking North Carolina. We started talking Drake Maye. You said that he should be in New York for the Heisman Trophy. And since then, he lost to a third-string quarterback at Georgia Tech, lost to a fourth.
Can I stop you there? Can I stop you there?
Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
Your overall point is right. Drake Maye hasn't been very good down the stretch. But what you just said is emblematic of what the problem is with the Heisman Trophy. You just said to me Drake Maye was going to go to the Heisman, but then he lost to Georgia Tech. Then he lost to blank. And then he lost to blank. No. These quarterbacks don't lose to blank. Teams lose to blank. It's an individual award. When Hendon Hooker loses to somebody, or when Caleb Williams loses to Utah 43-42, did Caleb Williams lose, or did he give everything he had and end up losing the game? Like, quarterbacks don't lose these games. It's not a team award.
I agree.
All right.
But I will say, through Georgia Tech, to North Carolina State, and to Clemson, and those three combined games, he threw one touchdown pass and threw 4 interceptions.
He did play bad down the stretch.
He's a good quarterback. He's solid. But Carolina's schedule was so fucking easy that you could have gone out there with your talent and beaten those teams.
This is the first guy.
Okay, quarterback, but he is overhyped like hell from the ACC network and by the media. He couldn't play on any other team.
This is the first guy who's put up a fight. This is the first caller who's put up a fight and done very well for himself. But I just think Drake Maye might have hit the freshman wall. I know he was a redshirt freshman, but you talk about 12 games against high-level competition, and in the ACC plus Notre Dame is Power 5 competition. That's what I mean when I say high-level competition. He was probably ahead of his skis a little bit. He probably outperformed for a few weeks, and then he underperformed coming down the stretch. But ultimately, you have Drake Maye, a guy who was one of the most exciting players in the country, as just a freshman. And looking forward, he's going to be one of your Heisman contenders every year that he plays football.
I will say one last thing for you. Keep an eye on little old Ben Finley at North Carolina State. His first career.
Okay, that's where you lost. That's where you lost. You were doing well. You were doing well. Then you just revealed that your entire reason for calling was to hate on Drake Maye because he plays at North Carolina because you're a North Carolina State fan. That's bitch made as fuck. See ya. He was pretty good until he did that. If you call this number, 888-STOOL22, and hang on the line, and your goal is to simply hate on a guy who plays for your rival, that's fucking pathetic. That's sad. He only did that call so he could praise NC State and shit on Drake Maye. When that guy would absolutely kiss any ass on the Eastern Seaboard to have Drake Maye as his quarterback the next 3 years. Perfect game still intact, 4-0. 4-0. But I won that one like 77-75. I didn't win that one going away. 888-STOOL22. Thomas in Chicago, go.
Hey, Brandon. I got office trade for you, and then I got a couple questions. My office trade for you. When Jan and Michael Scott go to Chili's to meet with a future client, who is the client in real life? He's a past SNL cast member.
Are you talking about famed character actor Tim Meadows?
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby.
Chili's, baby back ribs, barbecue sauce.
Ribs.
Yeah, that was nice. Continue.
Great episode. So I want to call and talk about how I feel like there's a possible matchup here that no one's talking about, and I feel like that's national championship between Georgia and TCU. I'm going to tell you why. If Georgia is going to get in, but if you look at across sports, you feel like, and you look at past years of when there's never been the top two teams in the national championship game. 2018 World Cup was between France, who was the number one overall in the world, versus Croatia, who was like, I want to say ranked between 15 and 20. There's Cinderella. Now, in this past year World Series, Astros was probably the number one team in MLB, and Philadelphia did come on late, but like they were never favored in the NL. I feel like this is a possible matchup where we could have a Georgia versus TCU, where everyone's overlooking TCU and saying, "Oh, how can they like stop Michigan?" Or like, how can they go up against the run game? But then I feel like but then we should be talking about how Michigan can like go up against TCU. What do you think of that philosophy?
Well, I think outside of what Michigan did against Ohio State, who has a very good offense, this will be the best offense they've faced all year. And TCU has shown the ability to stay in games and stay close in games and at least make things interesting. I like Michigan to win the game, but I do think TCU makes them sweat. This is the first year I don't see a blowout in either semifinal. Last year you could see Alabama-Cincinnati coming from a mile away. Some years you can see it coming. I don't know that Michigan has the wherewithal to blow out this TCU team. Now, if there's going to be a blowout, it will be that one. But I do think Georgia-Ohio State, and people think I'm crazy, I think that's a fourth quarter game. I think somebody's leading by 3 with 4 minutes left, and it's just whoever makes the last play. I think that's going to be some hell of a football game. I certainly think we're headed towards Georgia versus Michigan, but I feel decent about Ohio State possibly winning that one. And TCU, I just don't think they got it in them to get embarrassed. I think they passed every test.
I feel like obviously like last year, obviously you're Georgia, Alabama. I just feel like every year across sports, when do we actually have the top two? We always have, like not like Cinderella, but like the people that we overlook or slip in who could possibly give like a test. I just feel like this is a year where we have obviously Georgia and then obviously TCU.
All right.
And I want to leave you with this. Obviously, hopefully I could be the first call to win. What do you think across sports are the top 5 best white jerseys?
I'll have to think about that. That's just a crazy thing to end on. I mean, Yankees pinstripes got to be up there, right?
Yeah. I don't think Cowboys in it, because like you said with college football helmets, I feel like those are iconic but not best. I feel like there's a difference between best and iconic.
I think the Chicago Bulls home whites or white uniforms are very, very good. Thank you for the call. And we weren't competing. Me and you don't compete. You're an OG, so we're not competing. That was not a competition. So 4-0 still, 4-0. LSU whites are fire, says the chat. Adam Wesco. Yeah, I agree. Man, you just don't see home whites as being the key thing. Huh. Who have I said? Who knows? Whatever. Still 4-0. That one didn't count. Me and him. I don't argue with Thomas. He goes all the way back to Sling. David in Florida, go.
All right, Buckeye Brandon, 4-1. You can put this in your fucking ass already. I heard your moronic ass say that Michigan did not dominate Ohio State. You said it was a close game for a half, a couple lucky plays. What the fuck game were you watching, Buckeye, whatever your name is? We did student body right, student body left 80 yards. This high-powered offense that you keep hanging your hat on for 2 straight years at home in 60-degree fall weather scored 3 points in the second half. Brandon, the Michigan identity is lean on you, wear you down, and bust you up in the second half. You sit there and act like this is a coin flip game. It wasn't a coin flip game. We dominated them when it mattered in the second half.
That was a one-score game. That was a one-score game in the fourth quarter. This
You can't say that was a coin flip.
This revisionist history that you have, this revisionist history saying we blew them out from the start. It didn't happen, and you know it.
What didn't happen?
You know that you guys – there's this revisionist history where Michigan fans say that you just blew Ohio State out the whole day. You were trailing at the half.
They scored 3 points in the second half.
You took control in the third quarter. Fine. You took control in the third quarter, and then you embarrassed them at the end. But that game was closer than you want to imagine.
Buckeye Brandon is right back to his usual tricks. It doesn't matter what they do, how they lose, how bad it is. You come back, say they're loaded in the best team. Now they're going to go.
You know good and goddamn well you do not want to see that team again. You do not want to see that team again. You're terrified.
What did we have to do? Outscore them 100-0? It wasn't even close. We were running up the middle, and they couldn't stop it. Buckeye Brandon.
You are terrified.
What are you living on?
You're scared to death you're going to have to play them again, aren't you? Tell the truth.
To death, I wanted them. I just answer this. I don't care. How do you say we didn't dominate the second half? A couple plays.
You did dominate the second half.
Oh, you idiot. We were handing the ball up the middle and going for 80 yards. This high-powered offense that you have bragged about all season scored 3 points in perfect weather at home. Explain that.
What about yesterday? What about yesterday when you said to everybody, Michigan only cares about national championships?
Explain 3 points. Explain it, Buckeye Brandon. 3 points.
Michigan won the second half. Michigan pulled away in the fourth quarter. That's what happened. But they didn't pull away until the 7-minute mark, okay? If you replay that game again, it might go different. Where'd he go? He left? Might be 4-1. In fairness, I wasn't. Did you know? Did he tell you not to tell me or something? Because I let him stay on hold for like 20 minutes. He stayed on hold for like 20 minutes. Damn, now I owe Dave a $50 gift card to the Barstool store. We got to call and get that guy's address so we can give him the $50 gift card to the Barstool store. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. He got me. Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't ready. Who was that? That guy was a hell of a Michigan fan. 888 Stool 22. Dan in Wisconsin. No. Oh, fuck. Going to be hard for you to follow that, Rob in Boca.
Yep.
All right, continue. You want to talk or do you just want to hang out? All right, y'all got to be ready. Rob in Boca dropped the ball. Caden in Fort Worth. Going to be hard to follow that.
Hey, Brandon, I was re-listening to the show yesterday. I think it's absolutely bananas that people don't eat fried catfish as much as we do.
Yeah, and I didn't know it till I got here. I thought fried catfish was universally eaten all over the country, but up here they just don't eat it, and it's probably one of the staple foods from where I'm from.
Bananas. But before I get to my question / comment, check your DMs. If you're in Arizona, kind of have a proposition for you during the Fiesta Bowl, Arizona Bowl, CFP, whatever week you want to call it. But I absolutely love the fact that nobody's giving the Horned Frogs a shot. First and foremost, first Texas team to ever make the CFP. Fuck you, Texas A&M. Fuck you, University of Texas. And fuck you, Texas Tech. Little old TCU slipped in the CFP, 12-0 in the Big 12. Fuck everyone. But love that everyone's looking past TCU, thinking Michigan's gonna make it to the final and face off against Ohio State. We fared pretty well the last time we had a redheaded quarterback facing off an elite defense with a really good run game. Everyone remembers the 2010 Rose Bowl, J.J. Watt crying off the field. But wanted to get your take. It's kind of weird thinking about a team looking past someone in a playoff final. But I think that's kind of how Horned Frog fans are feeling right now.
The only thing is, Jim Harbaugh is an outstanding football coach, and he has built this team the right way. They're not built with 5 stars that just wow you and might be soft. They're built with fucking lumberjacks that maul you at the line of scrimmage, that destroy you and take your will to live. And if I got a team built like that, I think that team is a lot less likely to no-show a game than some soft-ass good receivers and quarterbacks from California who don't really care. I think Michigan's style of football is a little slump-free. So while I recognize that TCU is better than anybody's given credit for, I think this is a bad matchup for the Horned Frogs.
Fair enough. I think that's a valid argument, especially with going from trying to corral someone like Deuce Vaughn and then the power run game that is the Michigan Wolverines. Thanks so much for taking my call, Brandon.
Thank you. What are the odds that I came up with the caller scoring system on the day that Dave Portnoy calls into the fucking show?
Kudos to me for holding my tongue on that one while you were putting that together.
It was about 12 words in before I realized it, too. I was listening to him. I'm like, okay, good points. Whatever. I don't care. Fuck him. I don't care about Dave. 888-STOOL-22. Javaris, and Lamar.
Brandon, how are we?
Go ahead, Hingle McCringleberry.
Well, Brandon, my dialogue here today is feel accepted. I'll bring a new name every day from the East-West Bowl with a fact and a trivia question from the school. So today is University of Middle Tennessee.
Why?
The question for you is, who is the All-Pro that's currently in the NFL from Middle Tennessee State? Easy one to start.
I don't fucking know.
Yes, you do, Brandon. You're the best. You're the king of college football.
I legitimately have no idea. Who is it?
Kevin Byard.
Sure. Fair. Why? Okay.
Quick question for you. Being from New Mexico, I don't have a team to follow. It's pretty hard to do. Can you give me a team to follow and why?
What do you like?
Although New Mexico State is eligible for bowl.
You like hookers?
Yeah, sure.
Auburn. You're an Auburn fan now. Whore Eagle. 888-STOOL-22. 888-STOOL-22. Buddy. Why would I? Squish Velociraptor Maloish. Yeah, you always catch me off guard with these. Hingle McCringleberry. Fuck. Can y'all put some in the chat so I can read them? I'd like to see these in the chat. Hingle McCringleberry, Scoish Velociraptor Maloish. No, nothing. Y'all aren't gonna say anything. Favorite fast food restaurant? I'm Chick-fil-A. That's easy. Chick-fil-A not only is the best tasting, it's the best everything. Devoyne shower handle, thank you. Dan Smith, BYU. Okay. Some of you just don't get the assignment. Xmas Jackson Flaxen Waxen. Love that one. Love that one. Torque Lewis. Some of you just don't get the assignment. Jesus Christ. It'll be better than this. Tavariousness King, Merrimack College, yes. Ty Royal, Smoochie Wallace. Mike Miller says Chick-fil-A is so overrated, Brandon, and there is the dumbest person in the chat. The dumbest person in the chat. Good Lord, imagine saying that out loud for people to hear. 888, Stool 22. Linda in Atlanta. Is this our Linda from the Yak?
It is. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you? I hope you're not calling to verbally berate me.
No, not at all. And that's what, like, I'm not going to have the take that you think I'm going to have.
Okay.
With Georgia, that I agree Stetson Bennett has no place in that top four. I agree. He's great and stuff like that, but what I'm tired of seeing is everything's always quarterback. And I know you just said a little bit ago, quarterback's the most important person. You don't have an O-line. You don't have a defense. His numbers aren't going to be there regardless, right?
Right.
If you needed to put somebody in from Georgia, it should have been Brock Bowers.
And I listen, I understand the skill level that Brock Bowers has. Brock Bowers is one of the most talented players in the country. And he is another one that's hurt probably by Georgia's propensity to blow teams out. Brock Bowers' numbers weren't great this year. He had like 50 catches. He had like 5 touchdowns. Like, his numbers weren't great. But he's just such a matchup nightmare that he's going to be a top 5 pick as a tight end. He's another one of those Georgia players that's probably one of the best players in the country at his position, but you're not going to be able to give him the award for best player in the country because he's not going to have the numbers. I think Jalen Carter as well. Jalen Carter, the defensive end, is somebody that's probably, if you just rank the players in America, how good they are, he's right up there with Will Anderson that has maybe a top 5 player talent-wise in the country. But Stetson gets the award recognition because he's the quarterback when Georgia has like 10 of these guys that are the best player in the country at their position.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm not saying he needed to be nominated, but if they felt the obligation to have somebody, Georgia being number one
from a
years ago, it would have been Brock Bowers was a better argument than Stetson.
From a talent perspective, Brock Bowers is one of the very best players in America, and there's no doubt about that. Thank you very much. This is the first time in the history of the show I've got back-to-back Brock Bowers calls. Cole and Savannah, go.
Hey, Brendan, just wanted to get your opinion. I actually tagged you on Twitter, but Brock Bowers said that he was pulled from the national championship game right after it happened to take a drug test, and I was just curious if you've ever heard of that happening before.
I haven't, but Nick Saban is a fucking witch. Nick Saban runs college football. If there's anybody in America who could pull off the fact that you have to make one of your best players on the other team take a drug test, it would be Nick Saban, because he's kind of got a little whininess to him, right? Kind of got a little bit of, oh, I can't believe that happened to us to him. So, yeah, he would be the guy that would use his authority and get Brock Bowers to have to take a drug test. I don't know if that's true or not, but it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Gotcha, and big shout out to your boy Tommy. He killed it on the thing with Francis today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Francis did a video with my son Tommy Walker, and it's gotten pretty rave reviews so far. Have you seen it?
I saw the first 2 minutes of it.
So you saw what I showed on the Yak?
Yeah, good, funny. Chad Kelly got pulled off the field for a drug test recently.
Chad Kelly should get drug tested every single time he takes a snap.
He's playing football for the Toronto Argonauts.
There's never a time Chad Kelly takes a field where he shouldn't be drug tested.
And they brought him in the Grey Cup because their quarterback got injured, which is their Super Bowl, and they won, and they drug tested him in the locker room.
It's not their Super Bowl, it's their Grey Cup. Have some respect. The Super Bowl is the Grey Cup of America.
Who's your favorite Canadian Football League team?
Well, big Rough Riders guy. Hold on, let me go through. There's the Edmonton Elks. There's the Toronto Argonauts, the Montreal Alouettes, the British Columbia Knights, I don't know what Alberta is. The Ottawa.
Red Blacks.
I was going to say Skipjacks. I knew it ended with Axe. How many more are there? Give me a city. I'll tell you their name.
Why don't these have?
Okay.
Winnipeg.
Blue Bombers or Bombers?
Blue Bombers.
Yep.
Of course, Janarian Grant, their kick return man, who leads the Canadian Football League in kick return touchdowns.
Where did he play college football?
I don't know.
Do you really not?
I know.
Yeah, you do. He knows.
Would have been the best returner in college history had he not got hurt.
Fine. Trey and Indy, go. Trey and Indy.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, how we doing, man?
Great. What's up?
Hey, this is gonna be a phone call where you probably don't get a lot, and it's to agree 100% with what you're saying. I think the whole Michigan-Ohio State thing, they can say they care about national championships, but I think deep down they just give a shit about beating Ohio State. And I pray to God that it somehow ends up being a rematch. And I'm not even an Ohio State fan, but just calling in to say I agree with what you're saying about it all.
I want the rematch too. I want it bad. It will be to have the one of the top rivalries in the country define a national championship would be amazing. Michigan fans know they don't want that though. Could you imagine? First of all, there's two different layers here. Let's say Ohio State beats Georgia, TCU loses to Michigan. There's two different ways this could go. Michigan wins their third in a row in right over 12 months, and they absolutely take the rivalry to a place it's never been and just take ownership like they'd never taken before. Or Ohio State takes the two losses they've had over the last couple of years. They go to the national championship, and they beat Michigan in the biggest spot, and nothing that happened over the last 12 months matters at all. That's how stark the difference would be. Big Chad in Maryland, go.
What's going on, Brandon? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just a quick thought. So the Heisman is a fraternity. If you were to believe that fraternity, like a college fraternity, would send these candidates through a pledge sort of group or some hazing, who do you think out of those four would come out on top, still wanting to be a part of the group, and who could make it through some typical fraternity hazing?
I would.
Not that anybody actually does that. And then second thing is, if Cade Klubnik is starting from day one with all the injuries that have transpired this year, is Clemson in the playoff, and is he in New York for the Heisman ceremony?
No, because Cade Klubnik, when he would come – now, he was excellent the other night. He was fantastic. But he would have moments this year where he came in and he kind of looked lost. He looked like he wasn't ready. He looked like he wasn't, ready to be the big-time star quarterback. And I feel like if you give him 12 games, he's going to have a couple growing pains. You might lose a game that you previously won, like Wake Forest, something like that. But the thing is, they now know their future. Clemson knows their future. They just saw a glimpse of it. Cade went through 12 games, got a seasoning and everything, and he came out. The ACC title game was amazing. Now they're going to do it in a bowl game. I think they're going to beat the shit out of Tennessee with Cade. And Clemson has gone through a rough patch this year, but they figured out their guy for the future, and look out. Now they can start building around him. Why would I want to talk about Purdue? I don't know. This guy's name is Brendan in New Jersey. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. Everyone this year in the past couple of weeks is talking about you can't punish TCU for losing to Kansas State, and you can't punish them by making them play Georgia, the number one team in the country. What about not punishing Georgia, who is the number one team in the country, by making them play Ohio State? No one's talking about that.
I actually agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly. You actually said it better than I would say it. I thought Georgia got really screwed in this equation. Michigan's the number 2 seed, but they get to play the weaker team. They get to play TCU, while Georgia has to deal with Ohio State. And I know Ohio State got embarrassed in the fourth quarter against Michigan, but Ohio State's still one of the most talented teams in the country. That's a hell of an assignment for Georgia. You're talking about I could play TCU on one end or Ohio State in the other. Every coach in America is choosing TCU. So I do think Georgia got screwed a little bit, and I would have put Ohio State 3 to match them up with Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to convince Michigan to play any tougher out of conference.
No. They're still going to maintain their pussy ways on that one. Thank you very much. I didn't realize until Dave tweeted it last night, and then I went and looked, that Michigan, that says they're a blue blood, that says they're top of the sport, says everything, Michigan's last outright national title was in 1948. My dad was born in 1951, and he's dead of old age. That was 74 years ago. They've got their last outright title was 74 years ago. Good Lord. Sean in Arizona, what?
Hey, Brandon, just a quick question for you about with all this conference realignment, why hasn't there been more serious talk about adding probably two weeks to the regular season?
Well, I think because they were talking about expanding the playoff. And expanding the playoff was more pressing, more relevant, and you had to figure out what your postseason is going to look like before you can worry about changing your regular season. And I don't think they're in a place right now with the players. I think 12 games is about the limit you're going to be able to get out of players. I think when you start getting into 17, 18 games, including bowls and playoffs, now you're talking about professional athletes. So I think they're at the limit they can do on the 12-game schedule. But it's not a bad question. 888 still 22. Kyle in Nashville, go ahead.
Hey, Brendan. With Texas and Oklahoma coming over to the SEC in a couple of years, are they going to do away with this two-division set up in the SEC? And also, are they just going to get rid of these conference championship games altogether? Because they seem like they're getting pointless with the extended playoff.
Well, the thing about the extended playoff, though, is they actually have a built-in point to them. As it stands right now, and no, they don't look like they have really a point, but when the playoff comes expanded and the top four teams, the top four Power 5 champions get a bye, now you're playing for something. Now that championship game is going to matter a lot. So the reason for the conference championship games is coming, and it's coming in spades. And I don't remember the first part of the question at all, but I'm just going to keep talking as if I do, and maybe it will come back to me because that's what I want to do. And I'm talking college football. And we're talking about, and now I don't even remember the second part of the question. So now I've lost the entire train of thought when it comes to that call at all. So I don't even know what we were talking about. And I don't know where I am right now currently. Stool 22. Will in Florida, go ahead right now.
Hey, Brian, I kind of had a similar question to the previous caller about like the conference championships and stuff. And I think like just from a watchability standpoint, obviously the 12-team playoff is going to make it a lot more interesting just because it's an actual like postseason versus just like almost an exhibition style. But how do you think like going forward, like about the seeding and stuff? Like obviously it's kind of cool how they do it, or they're changing it up to where the top Power 5 get the top 5 seeds or whatever. But like it would be a lot different than it was with the current seeding or whatever. So how like if it was based on the future seeding, it would be Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Clemson 3, and I believe Kansas State 4, if I'm correct. So how do you like? Do you think that's fair? Or I just don't. Obviously, I don't think Clemson's number 3 and Kansas State or Utah is number 4. So like, do you think that will like be an effective system?
Yeah, I think it will. It'll give the best teams an incentive to win in the conference championship games that isn't there now, and it will. Listen, them will be the breaks because you'll have a chance to beat that team in the second round anyway. So I feel like once we make it a playoff, that the advantage that it looks like is on the table isn't really on the table. So I don't know. I have no idea. I just ran out of gas about five minutes ago. You could take. If I watched this film back, I could tell you exactly when I ran out of gas. And I don't know what to talk about. My favorite holiday special, probably Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm just going to do randoms for the next 4 minutes. I love Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the old animated special. The Grinch, the old Grinch from 1966 is good. My favorite Christmas movie is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Home Alone would be second. Yes, TJ?
I was going to say what I used to do with the Christmas specials to let everybody have easy days up to high school is bring those in on a flash drive, and then I would convince the teacher that we should not do any work on like the last days before Christmas. They'd be like, well, we can't watch anything because all the websites are blocked. And be like, well, I actually happen to have it on a flash drive. And then
that's cool.
Showered in praise.
When I was in high school, I didn't know what a flash drive was.
Right.
I thought a flash drive was just riding down the road showing truckers your titties.
Well, they didn't get those in Mississippi till 2016.
I thought mine was a good joke. And you just came right over the top. You didn't let it breathe at all. Should I say it again? We didn't have flash drives in my high school, TJ.
Talking about titties?
No. So what you have? Okay. Wow, we didn't even have flash drives when I was in high school. Back then, I thought a flash drive was just showing truckers your titties. Yeah, but you did. Okay.
My mom asked when you want her to make brownies and send them in with me.
Every day from now to Christmas.
Okay.
Wouldn't be the Christmas shopping season if the stores were any less hotter than they are. What about the kids? Oh, his kids can fend for themselves. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Kiss your ass. It is a bit nipply out. Whatever. It's just a real nice surprise, Clark. Just a real nice surprise. What do you plan to do with a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you. You got a lot of nerve talking to me like that, Griswold. I wasn't talking to you. What a good movie. Hey, TJ, look, a deer. How's it in the show now?
Technically speaking, yeah.
What do you mean, technically speaking?
We can.
I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow.